We're at Splash and we're in the West Tower, so obviously that's the one facing the west end. And then you have the access here with the walkover. Please note that that walkover actually attaches to the East Tower, so there is a little bit of a workaround to get over here, but it's not significant, and I'll show you what I mean. So coming into Splash, you pull in here, and I believe there is a gate there from what I can remember. I didn't park there, I parked right here in front of Alvin's Island, but you have that gated access point, and then elevators and access there to the walkover, or you can walk over. It's access 75 or 74, I believe, right across here, and then you walk between the buildings, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm starting here in the hallway because I wanted you to see basically what I see as we move to the lockout unit. It gets a little dark right here, I'm not gonna lie, so that's kind of what I wanted to show you. So you have your electrical room, and in here all of the lockout units are going to be in the corner, but you can see there's really not a whole lot of light, and I don't know if that's because there's a missing fixture here or what. So this is 402, laundry chute, trash chute, stairs, and then the unit. And so when you walk in here, you see it's 401 and 401A, got the Splash logo. This is the exterior of the door with the cobble lock, obviously kind of been worked a bit. And I will say, kind of upon entry, floors look great as a base. As far as I know you were concerned about the floors, so you could clean them up and technically use them, go in and paint, but there's going to be some furniture change-outs, decor change-outs, things like that. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. So as you walk in here, this is going to be your 2-bedroom, and then this would be your single. This is less utilized, so it leads me to believe you're going to rent the 2-bedroom a lot more than you're going to rent the studio portion. So, but you notice when we did go in here, I actually didn't have, this was unlocked. So that's basically meaning that they have free reign, and this is being rented as a 3 and not really utilized in the way that I think it should be, with a secondary lock here, if that makes sense. So 2 and then a single, but there is no kitchenette. It's a small little wet bar, but that's it. So this is the first thing you see when you walk in. Let me back up for a moment. You have a very wide entry area. Can you fandangle some sort of bunk thing? No, it's just really not usable. However, it is a nice wide entry, which is great. This is the 8-track closet where the water heater is, and then you have your initial guest bathroom. So this is your first guest bedroom, and that looks to be a king. I was kind of looking at this. Could we fit any sort of bunk area? You know, you could go the double bunk with the large queen on the base, so you still could sleep adults, and then have it be an option for people here as sort of like a shared type of room. So basically shared meaning it could go either way, a kid's room or an adult's room. And I mean, chock full. So as I was coming up, I saw a lot of like young families kind of taking advantage of like the off prime season rates, lots of activity at the pool level. I didn't really feel comfortable like filming them. I will say, although we have a nice transition here, it doesn't trip you up. I will say that this here does not match. So that tile does not match the one, but it is done well. I can say sometimes you can tell they're not done well. In this circumstance, it's not the case. So this side here features its own private balcony, and then you have the main balcony access off the living room, but you have sort of a private area here. And we are right here next to Celadon, so that's Celadon. And this is not high up, so you can still hear some of the you know, pool noise a little bit, you know. Definitely can get really great Gulf breeze. You can hear the water very, very well. I like that it's only the 4th floor, so if there is an emergency, you can easily get down. It's a good level for resale. You don't have any issues with privacy in the front. I will say, you know, a lot of this is just basic. I mean, I would honestly venture to say that the owners haven't been here in some time themselves. It's probably just a rental investment. Looking at the doors, just making a quick note, they slide easily. There's nothing wrong with them there, but they appear to be maybe original. So over time, that could potentially present an issue. Lots of space, okay? So let's go in here. So it's a pedestal sink. And you can see we're working with a lot of like that 2000s era decor. And just simple beach stuff. It's clean. The color choices are bold, which kind of gives me the same, you know, 2000s, like 2006, 7, 8 color vibe. Here's your kitchen. Kitchen's not bad. I mean, the appliances aren't bad. You could work with what you've got. They're all matching Whirlpool appliances. They appear to be at least maybe a year to 2 years old, and even the dishwasher matches. I like to, yeah, that's relatively new. Still in good shape. Cabinetry. Looks to be solid wood, in good shape. They have a lot of useless pieces in here and a lot of dated pieces. I think you could get away with painting and keeping a lot of the existing pieces, but honestly, some of this older, darker stuff just needs to go. How's your oh, I was gonna say this is your pantry, but it is your washer and dryer, which also appear to be newer. That's actually a nice set compared to most we see. While we're looking, I think we need to look at all of them. Yeah, this is newer, which is great. Just kind of get an idea of the cabinetry. Okay, so all in all, kitchen pretty good. Color, not a fan. So we're looking at some paint. And the floors, okay, kind of wild. So just going back, I know that we were mentioning the floors. That tile is also in the master. And then we have this fun little, I don't know, color play. I guess at one point they decided they were going to renovate, and that is what they went with. And if you would excuse me, I'm just going to take a moment here during the video just to kind of clean up. I feel like there we go. Maybe it could be a little clearer. Okay, so I feel like we have some large furniture pieces in here. Look at that view, that looks beautiful. And I left the balcony door open to kind of get some light in here. Big table. I mean, we could probably, I don't know, move this down a bit. Now, the configuration of the living room, not a fan. You could probably keep the couch. Yeah, we got a sleeper. That's probably just a standard couch. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, obviously. Standard couch, but you see you've got these, like, it just feels unorganized. Like the furniture is just maybe too big, and we just could pay attention a little bit more, lighten it up a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and give you a little bit of a look at the main balcony. Okay, so we'll have to take a look at the budget, see where they're at on their railing refacing, because you can tell we definitely need it here. Let me get you kind of a vibe here. Yeah, and so you get this furniture that can be easily replaced, not a big deal, with some good high quality. But be interesting to see when was the last time that they painted this, and if we have any of this coming in soon. And then this is the beachfront. We're not in prime season, but the cool thing about being on the west end is this is Celadon right here is the last condo in PCB, and then you end up having that free open beach, so you're not going to get it as crowded. However, Splash throughout the year, it does tend to rent more because it gives people an option to get to the beach and still enjoy the pool, even if the water is somewhere where you can't enjoy. So with that said, it does have strong income potential. However, I think to get that and claim the price that you want, you're going to need to surely renovate. And I had turned on the light, but I just don't think it's attached to here. So I'll go ahead and show you what the master looks like. Again, with the large furniture, and then this just oddly placed extra large couch, well, chair. And this does appear to be a king. And then you have the access to the balcony from here. So let's give you an idea about what the view would look like. And I apologize for going around and around. But I mean, that would be the view waking up, which is quite lovely. Overall, I'm getting like, I know that you can hear the people upstairs pretty well. So when they move, and that's commonplace in a lot of condos, I just want you to know that going into it, I can hear when they move a chair or what have you. So they move anything, you can hear it. And this is that same material again, same cabinet color, not a big deal. The cabinets and the countertops actually don't really need anything. I mean, demoing the floors would take quite a bit, and then, as far as the bathrooms go, if you wanted to do anything here, you know the drill. You've been there before. I think if you could come in here, do some paint and some furniture change outs, and if you left the floors in the bathrooms, I think you could get away with it for a little while, because you do have the stainless steel appliances, and we could rework some of these pieces. But I want to show you. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and show you. This is the HVAC closet. I got some pictures of those so I can check on the date. Okay, so again, your access point here, and your studio portion here. And again, this isn't as used as much. I can kind of come in here and I get a whole nother type of smell. You can tell that the walls haven't been dinged as much. Okay, so it has two systems. Okay, and that's your entry point. And again, with that dark, heavy type of furniture. So anyone who rents this isn't going to have a kitchen. See, there's no cooktop, but you do have a sink, which is great, and a little mini fridge. Mini fridge has seen better days. And this isn't actually an extra large mini. They're not typically that big. So this is either they've carved out extra space, or this is just bigger than I'm used to seeing in the market. So we'd have to probably get one, and I would recommend, if you are interested in this unit, to get one of capacity. Like, typically there's never enough room, right? And then obviously that guy's got to go. Old and dated, but the cabinetry still looks great. Nothing wrong with that. We can work with that. The blackouts and the shears may need replaced, unfortunately. One of the blinds in the other room look fine. But, I mean, those are some of those ticket items that add up. So in the studio, again with the railing, I'm pretty much imagining that they're gonna want to update the railings and paint. This looks like this has been done recently, so it would be interesting to see how soon. But this is the view that you get. And I guess if you peek around the corner, you can still see down at the Celadon pool, and then there is basically the west end. Oh yeah, and here you could basically hang out with the other people on the other side. Again, with the oversized furniture, just oddly placed in here. This is in great shape. Could work with it. And there are instances where you can make black work in a beachy situation. It just has to be done right and accessorized appropriately. Not a fan of the bed. Not a big fan of the metal. But could we fit a bunk in here? Yeah, probably. We could probably shift this over a bit and align it more directly with that. Be very difficult with the closet. Maybe what I'm getting at is maybe right here could be reworked, possibly. So, and then here's that little window view, and that window again peeking out this direction, so you could actually see the garage. I'm just curious if these are sleepers, because I've seen them. They are. That's what it is. So they're advertising it as additional sleeping. You can manipulate these. So this can be moved and basically sat as a twin. And they're both relatively new. I just don't understand why people buy those, but you gotta have room for them, you know? That's the thing. You just, I guess you shift it and then you bingo bango, becomes extra sleeping. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closet. Great. And I'm gonna go ahead and have to make a second video. I'm gonna try to get the pool area without looking like a creep and videoing families, but there you go.